Howdy folks, and welcome back to Turkey Goose Homestead. So this week I didn't have a lot of content to put out this week because we've actually been in an extreme heat warning. It's been in the 90s pretty much all week, and so I haven't done much of anything despite the fact that I'm getting a little bit behind on chores. The grass really needs to get cut. The garden needs attention. Pretty much all I didn't even water it too much. Not because I don't have the water, but because right before we got out here, there were some torrential downpours. So when we got out here, it was standing water in the garden. I haven't wanted to overwater, but today will be a garden work video kind of a day. But yeah, it's been just in the 90s. The cabin obviously is a little bit warmer than that. And a little bit warmer than 90 is pretty unbearable. Well, we haven't honestly been inside during the day. Pretty much all we've done is wake up in the morning, we make breakfast, maybe hang out until early lunchtime, and then we just have been at the beach. And we've probably, in the last 4 days, we've spent about 9 hours at the beach. So, yeah, I haven't had a whole lot to update on this week, but we're gonna do a little bit of a garden update, and we'll see where we go from there. So yeah, we'll jump into that. Before we jump into the garden update video, I just wanted to preface it by saying this. The reason I waited so long is because I see a lot of the failures that I have and that have come up in my doing of what I'm doing out here. And I don't like to showcase that. Nobody does. Nobody wants to be like, hey, look how I screwed up. But I think it's important. I think it's important for if and when my son watches this as he's older to learn from me. I think it's important for anybody else to know that, you are going to fail. I screw up a lot out here. And this was my first year working on the garden. A mistake was made for the potatoes. All right, I made a mistake with the potatoes, and I want to own that in this video and kind of talk about what I need to do better for next year. Because I had to look it up, and I learned about the mistake I made, and I kind of want to, I'm just prefacing that going into this. So we'll get into it. So the mistake I made with the potatoes is to do with the soil. My soil that I naturally have out here is clay, and you need to have a well-ventilated soil that doesn't really compact and hold moisture, which if you know anything about clay, it's literally the opposite of that. And so because of that, there isn't a lot of, I don't know what the right word would be, not breathability, but you want something that drains well, and clay does not drain well. So you'll see a lot of my potato plants have these yellow leaves, and I've been battling these all summer long, and it's starting to happen on every one of them. And I'm not even sure what I do, what I'm supposed to do. Like if you come over, they just fall off. Like they're hardly hanging on as it is. That one just pulled right off. This one's still attached a little bit. It's got a little bit of light. Nope, there it is. They're not hard to take off at all, which leads me to believe they've hardly been on. Like they just literally are falling off. Which I'm sure that's some sort of a natural mechanism in the potato trying to protect itself, which I'm grateful to the potato for, but that obviously means there's a problem with the soil. And part of that is that it doesn't drain well. The other part of that is it's probably nutrient starved. The only thing that's on here, as I've stated in the past, is topsoil and then the clay beneath it. And so I need to do work on the soil. Next year, I'm going to try to take a lot of this stuff in here. Not today, but I'm in a future video. I'm going to start a compost pile. I'm going to try to take all of this vegetation out, start a compost pile to begin composting for the next year, because I think it's time. Also, I did plant my potatoes about 2 weeks later than you were supposed to plant potatoes. On Memorial Day weekend, you're supposed to plant your potatoes. We were still actually getting some frost advisories on that, so I probably planted it 2 weeks after when I should have. However, when I did a Google search, it said that your potatoes should be 18 to 24 inches. I have mounded twice, but they're So if I hadn't mounded, they probably would be closer to, you know, 16 inches, maybe 14, but they're behind where they should be. And with the yellow, the yellowing of the leaves and the falling of the branches, I'm thinking I'm probably going to get small potatoes this year, and I'm going to get not a ton of them. My tomato plants, on the other hand, I think have been doing, I feel they're doing pretty good. They probably need a little bit more pruning. I try to take off as many of the non-fruit bearing stems as I can without taking too many off. But as you can see, I mean, the fruits are getting there. They're getting to be about the size, I would say those are rapidly approaching Roma tomato size, right? Which is the type of tomatoes we're dealing with here. So I'm happy with what we have here. Obviously, we're not gonna have enough to make it through the winter just off of what I've grown, but I think I'm happy with what I see out here, that's for sure. As for the garlic is gonna get pulled on Wednesday. Today's Sunday. It's getting pulled on 3 days. At least this one. I'm gonna give it a couple more days just for the sake of it, but yeah, that's what I got for the garlic. Because of the tight quarters in here, I'm not comfortable bringing the lawnmower in. I'm actually not even comfortable bringing in the weed whacker, so I trim the grass with these. At least around the potatoes and around the tomatoes. I like to trim the grass just so I know I don't damage the crops. I'm not arguing that I manage this garden appropriately, by the way. I manage it my way. That just may not necessarily be appropriate. Oh, hot. This is a 2.5 gallon watering can, just on the record. Just on the record, it gets so hot out here that when I have to do a cutaway to go fill up the bucket, I need to move the phone into the shade. Otherwise, it will overheat and shut down. I'm trying to really give some love to the most promising of the potatoes at this point. Not that I don't want to give all of them love, I actually love them all, but I mean, I think it's, you know, you got to be a little bit realistic that maybe you're not going to get a full yield, especially when you don't do the soil the appropriate way. If I had to guess, I would say that was probably 8 gallons of water that I just poured out on the plants that I have there. However, it is there's a hopeful and then also a negative side to my method here. My hopeful side is that it is supposed to thunderstorm tomorrow and the next day. So with that being said, we will hopefully get 2 days worth of rain on this garden and not have needed to use that last bucket I have. See, because I have 3, buckets that catch rainwater right now, and I'm hoping that the ones I use today will fill up, and then we can, have a little bit of a reservoir saved again. My fear, however, is that with this heat that's here, is that the hot part of summer is starting, that we're going to be in a drought for until probably fall, barring a thunderstorm or two, maybe. And with that being said, then I'm going to be running low on water, and I'm going to have to start hauling it from the creek again. And there is no easy creek access except for on the opposite end of the property, and in 90-degree heat, hauling 15 gallons of water by hand to and from is gonna be a lot. It's gonna be exhausting. It's gonna be quite the chore. So we'll see what's happening. I'm trying to save water so that I can at least get one more day of, kind of watering in for the garden before I have to start hauling again for the garden. But yeah, that's pretty much the update. The big haha, where did you fail with the garden is the fact that I failed with the soil for the potatoes. I did no research into that at all. I literally just bought topsoil and threw some seed potatoes into the ground. Oh, that breeze feels so nice. That breeze feels so nice. Like, I'm sweating into my eyes. My eyes hurt. It's pretty high. I checked the outdoor thermometer. It was 91 degrees right now. So, I'm hoping that that'll be enough water to hold these plants through best case scenarios until it storms tomorrow and Tuesday. Worst case scenario until I come back out on Wednesday and can water it. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll say this much for sure, is that if heat like this is going to be expected all the time, which it's summer. I don't know why I didn't think we were going to get these stretches of 90, almost 100-degree days. But I really need to get my real rainwater collection system put together and set up. That's all on the docket. That's all hopefully coming up in August. Hopefully even fixing the shed before it starts to snow, because whether we want to admit it or not here, as I sit out here in a probably 93-degree heat, we need to all start also accepting the fact that the days are getting shorter and winter is around the corner. It's time to start planning for that. So that's all I have for this video, though. Thank you for watching. If you like this, if you want to join this little attempted community, please like and subscribe. And I'm going to do my best to do a live soon. So if anybody watching this just has any questions, anything at all, it'll either be, in a couple of days, hopefully. I want to try to make my live days Mondays or Tuesdays. My life is too fluid to plan it out, to say, yes, I'm scheduling it on Tuesdays, but that's what I would like it to be. I'm going to get out of the sun. I think we're going to pack up and probably just get ready to head back into town, even if it's a little early, just so that we can sit in the air-conditioned car for an hour. But thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time at Turkey Goose Homestead.